for something to happen to me.
लाखों दरूद और लाखों सलाम, लाखों दरूद और लाखों सलाम, जिन्नों मलाइक तेरे गुलाम, जिन्नों मलाइक तेरे गुलाम, लाखों दरूद और लाखों सलाम। इतना करम तो फरमाइए, इतना करम तो फरमाइए, रोज़े पे सबको बुलवाइए, हाजिर यहाँ है जितने गुलाम, लाखों दरूद और लाखों सलाम।
Something to happen to me. But this waiting comes with trials and challenges. Nothing in life is free. My Lord, show me right from wrong. Give me light, make me strong. I know the road is long, make me strong. Sometimes it just gets
लाखों दरूद और लाखों सलाम, लाखों दरूद और लाखों सलाम, जिन्नों मलाइक तेरे गुलाम, जिन्नों मलाइक तेरे गुलाम, लाखों दरूद और लाखों सलाम। इतना करम तो फरमाइए, इतना करम तो फरमाइए, रोज़े पे सबको बुलवाइए, हाजिर यहाँ है जितने गुलाम, लाखों दरूद और लाखों सलाम।
Something to happen to me. But this waiting comes with trials and challenges. Nothing in life is free. My Lord, show me right from wrong. Give me light, make me strong. I know the road is long, make me strong. Sometimes it just gets
लाखों दरूद।
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, As-salatu was-salamu ala Sayyidil Mursaleen, Amma ba'du fa'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, we are back on, after Zohar to hear the main presentation of the day, which will be led by our blessed teacher Shaykh Ahmad Dabbagh, and it's a great honor and blessing for us that they share this valuable time with us to teach us about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and our own selves. As they say, the one who knows himself knows his creator, and everything else falls into place as well in terms of knowing about other people, why people behave the way they behave, why do people lose out in the dunya, in the race of dunya, in terms of accumulating wealth and chasing things, chasing people. You know, all these lessons are there for our benefit to ensure that we don't fall into that trap. So before we go into the main discourse for the afternoon, inshallah, we want to hold a brief feedback session. And when I say feedback, what I mean by that is we want to hear from yourselves as regards to the spiritual ascension methodology and practice that we have been doing. We want to know who, if anybody, has had an experience, who is struggling, who has questions relating to that. This is your opportunity now, not later on when we're having food and, you know, people ask questions, or once you've gone from here, then sometimes that opportunity gets lost in terms of the momentum, because you may have that unanswered question which remains unanswered because you haven't been in front of an ustad or trainer again to be able to ask. So now is your chance. Who wants to go first? Otherwise I will choose. Clip it onto you. Okay, like that. Okay, go.
Assalamu alaikum. So this is my very first time I've ever cleansed my lataif, and the first time I did that, I manifested my spirit, and when I manifested it, it was somewhere in the cosmos, and the first thing I felt was very vulnerable because I had no body, I had nowhere to hide, and I wanted to, I have a friend who basically watches all these YouTube videos, and they follow some kind of technique which they tried to crack their third eye open, and they invoked some kind of evil dark spirit. So the first thing that came to me was that I was worried that that would find me somehow. So the Shaykh came and protected me from it, and I was in the cosmos. The Shaykh's there, and all the people that I know are there, and we're all doing tawaf, trying to get closer to the Arsh of Allah. And that stayed in my mind for a few days, and then it slowly disappears. The next time I cleansed my lataif and I did it again, it wasn't actually so crystal. Actually, it was more blurred. And when I'm doing my prayer, the first time I felt as though, even though I was closing my eyes, I could still see the world around me, even though my eyes were closed. And then the next time I did it, today, I just see lots of colors, kind of organic objects, and then towards the end I realized that it was me in my mother's womb, possibly. I'm not sure, but my first question is, Islam draws a distinction between all the other religions because we make a direct connection with Allah, and we ask Allah directly. Yet something inside me feels guilty that I needed the Shaykh to protect me from the evil spirit, when I should have really been more dependent on Allah. But I feel like as though I'm still trying to, even though we use Allah's light, ask for Allah's light to cleanse our lataifs, that's just, we can never ever comprehend that because Allah is so great. We just need to really use something to get that connection with Allah. So I think my question is really this connection with Allah that we're trying to attain as mere mortals, and does that contradict our belief, which in Islam is so seeded, which is that we only ask Allah for help and no one else? So I guess that's my first question. My second question is in terms of my progress, where it's going, because I don't seem to be having the same progress as some of the other brothers, mashallah, who have managed to actually see the Prophet or have gone and been able to visit the Sahaba, which has always been one of my dreams to be able to get, but I've never ever have had the presence of the Prophet, and that's something that I yearn for. So I guess that's my second question. Jazakallah khair.
والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. First of all, one should know that you mentioned progressing. Seeing any dream, any vision is not progressing. These are just signs. If that was the case, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would have kept Prophet al-Islam until Day of Judgment for people because they can't progress. So what he kept was his teachings and his life in the form of Quran, because Quran is what the akhlaq of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the manifestation of sifat. So that whatever people needed to progress, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala kept preserved. He said, Inna nahnu nazzalna dhikr wa inna lahu la hafizun. And he preserved the sunnah, because the prophetic teaching, because that's what people would require to progress and be guided, not the seeing or being with the Prophet ﷺ, although that was a bonus because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent him and those people happened to be with him. They also benefited of his presence, but they also were limited to benefit from the teaching. If they would not accept Rasulullah teaching, even though he ﷺ had friends or relatives, but if they didn't follow Quran and Sunnah, they were deprived as well. And if a person who is not relative, who is living separate somewhere, like in Yemen, Sayyidina Wais al-Qarni was living, or after thousands of centuries, if you are living and you follow that formula or that teaching, you are successful. That's the progress. So progress will mean, is the tick sheet, are you ticking on the sheets? Is that going, is the tongue going to the obedience of the Prophet ﷺ? Because every tick means that your tongue is becoming closer, more like the Rasulullah ﷺ, and your ears, your hands, your feet, because this is something which this is the progress. Other, I will always say, is motivation. If someone shows you, we'll give you this cup. For example, the footballers are playing, the matches are going on, they say, oh yeah, this is World Cup, this is the black belt you will get. That's motivation. Now that cup is not progress. Anyone can hold cup, but they can't be actually the footballer or actually the people. So that's like a motivation. The real progress was when these footballers, these cricketers, or those people who trained in this, for example, fields or alone or in the gyms, that was the progress. So similarly, the progress really is your tazkiyah, which you have learned. Tazkiyah meaning purifying. What does that mean? Making your body, mind, heart follow the Prophet ﷺ, more like his doings, because he was the perfection of human portrait and creation. So that's where the progress lies. If a person doesn't see Rasulullah all his lifetime, there's no harm in there. But if he doesn't follow him and he sees him, there is harm in there. Because that's not actually, you may say, guarantee for him, but amal is actually guarantee for him in a way. So first of all, one should put one's concept right, that my progress is which is it within my choice. The progress is totally within your choice. Things which are not in your choice, they're never the purpose. They happen if you get blessing, good and well. Some people have good dreams, some people have good vision, some people have signs and secondly, you are alone in this world. Your destiny is different. Your fingerprint is different. Your face is different. Your voice is. Why are you comparing yourself to others? Compare fingerprint. Oh, my fingerprint is not like the others. Other look actually a little bit more. What will people say? They say, you have gone mad? If you have your fingerprint, why do you need to? Similarly, you don't need to compare anything actually with others. But yes, you can take motivation again from the pious and the righteous. looking at the Anbiya Ikram's life, looking at a brother who is more obedient to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, more actually sincere with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You can take inspiration, yeah, I want to, but you will be at your own level. No one can take your rizq, no one can take your Jannah. As I mentioned, Allah Azza wa Jal has created a place for everyone in Jannatul Firdaus. No one can take it. You go or not, that's different matter. You yourself can lose it, but no one can take it from you. You yourself, even shaitan cannot take from you until you do not want, and until you do not give in. Similarly, there's place in hell as well. It's up to you, you go there or not. Allah said, I don't want to send you there. Ma yaf'alullah bi'azabikum. Allah said, what will I do of punishing people? Do you think I created to just torture people? I am merciful, Lord. So Allah mentioned He is the Rahman Rahim before the surahs of the Quran, and we mentioned this is the dominant quality of Allah. So He said, Ma yaf'alullah. What do you think? Allah is a punishing God? No, He's just one. He punishes with justice. He doesn't punish because He wants to punish people or He wants to torture people. His all punishment is manifestation of His justice only. That's adl only. It's not that now Allah has become and He just wants to destroy people and anything like this. He said, no, He's the opposite to it, meaning actually He's the most merciful being. Like in one of the Mashaykh, they said that if on the Day of Judgment I am given a choice that you can be accountable, your hisab and kitab can be taken by your mother, your shaykh, or Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or actually Anbiya Ikram, he said, I will opt for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because He is the most merciful than everyone. This is a wrong image which we have concocted somehow. I don't know why. Whilst Allah Azza wa Jalla is giving a different image of His, that look, in other many religions, their books, Rahman, Rahim is not mentioned so many times. And they are giving soft image that Allah is loving and thing, and we somehow think there's someone who want to punish us, and that's the kind of relationship, if we do not follow. We do not have that loving, the most closer, the more, you may say, loving and gentle and intimate relation than even a mother. Hundreds, thousands mothers cannot have that love. That actually. So it is firstly to change, and then this view, and then knowing very clearly that my progress is totally within my choice, and I use my time, organs, and the tikshi, for example, my body. That's my progress. Other things, if I get, I will find motivation, good and well. If not, that is good and well as well, inshallah. So one is not actually comparing. Secondly, you mentioned that about help, asking help. Yes, we say Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. That Allah is we only worship Allah and we seek help only from Allah. Question is, why do you seek help from your friend? When you're ill, you go to doctor, please help me. When you lost your way, you were in the street, say, excuse me, can you help me? Why don't you remember this verse at that time? You say to your spouse, why, please help me. You say to the waiter in the restaurant, excuse me, can you bring me a plate? Why are you asking help from him? So this means you've understood it wrong. What it means is that all creation is manifestation of Allah's help. If they are helping, that is with the will of the. So the aqidah should be that Allah is the actual helper. He is using an angel, He is using any person. But real belief should be that it is Allah Azza wa Jal who is actually helping me. Not this person, not this doctor, the shifa is coming from Allah. So if a person have this belief, shifa comes from the doctor, then he has gone against he is committing shirk. But he sees calling a wali of Allah to help him, and he thinks that he's helping because actually Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given him the power. Or he's asking guidance, so then he is actually perfectly fine. He should be asking, like their teachers, math teacher, कभी आप गए उससे पूछा, please help me to solve this sum, तो आप लोग ये शिर्क हो गया. You know, a teacher who is teaching you physics and chemistry, and then some people say, oh, you should not extraordinarily ask. It doesn't matter, extraordinary or ordinary. If you think help is from people, creation, then that is shirk. If you think and believe real helper is Allah, Allah is using things, Allah is using creation and things. So that is, but the real one should think this is the help from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For example, in dunya, now, if you think Allah does not need anyone, we still need Allah and we need, for example, we are in need. Allah does not. Why is He sending your rizq through angels? He doesn't need angels. Why is He sending your rizq and provision and your protection and through angels and maintaining you through earth, the sun, the moon? Allah Himself has adopted means. Not He that needs them, but that is His qudra and that is hikmah and wisdom. And similarly, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to, yes, we say we seek help from Allah, we seek guidance from Allah, but did Allah send guidance to everyone? He can send guidance to one person, one being, which is Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and said others to follow him. Not directly. The people who have this mentality, oh, directly, I should be directly, they somehow and sometimes they are deprived. Like Shaitan wanted direct relationship with Allah, without the minus the Prophet, minus the human being. He said, yes, I want this equation, but minus human being, because I'm fine, I'm one created for Allah, and oh Allah, I'm fine with you. Why we need Adam in between? So Allah said, I created him myself. I want him to be the means. So then he was rejected. So one should be very clear. The actual helper is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We seek help. And other are means only. Allah Himself has adopted means and asked us to adopt means. So we go to a doctor, does not give shifa. The medicine does not give shifa. It is Allah Azza wa Jal. We seek help from people, the real help comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But they are like vehicles to deliver that help. Yes, Jibreel alayhi salam came with the guidance, but the real guide is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The haqiqi guide, Hadi, is Allah. But then, if He has created means, we use those means. Same thing again. Means is a means. They're not the actual things. The actual guide will be Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, yes, in spiritual world as well, a person should ask help from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then whatever means are available for a person, if he is a shaykh, a murshid, or any other, he can also he can actually get help from them as well. So this is somewhat people think they are mentioning Tawheed, but that is shaitanic type Tawheed, meaning minus the people, minus the, what should be the minus is the evil people, the shayateen. That's what we should not be seeking help from. Anbiya and awliya and pious and the righteous and others, one can ask advice, guidance and things, so one should not be confused. Even we are people, sinful people, you are pious people. Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam was the most pious and righteous in Anbiya, awliya, Rusul, Malaika. So when he went a spiritual journey, imagine you are comparing yourself now. Oh, I am asking help from Allah. He Jibreel alayhi salam, a person was accompanying him. He was saying, we should go here, we shouldn't go here, we should go now. Buraq was sent. And in the journey, an old woman was seen and asking help. Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam wanted to help her to go, and Jibreel alayhi salam stopped. He said, do not go. That is dunya calling you. Then, so imagine that the Prophet alayhi salam, when going through the Miraj, the physical, there was means which he adopted, Buraq and the Sayyidina Jibreel alayhi salam and to the angels. So means are created by Allah, be used, and they should also be considered means, the actual helper, guide, the Shafi is Allah Azza wa Jal. So one should be very clear about that actually. The shirk comes when you believe that that thing helps by itself, or that is the actual thing actually which helps. So yeah, two things that what you asked, so may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you further.
Before I give to this brother, if there's anybody else who has a pressing question relating to this, then please put your hands up. Otherwise, okay.
Assalamu alaikum, Hazrat Saab. I just wanted to ask, like, usually when we do something, we usually use like a wird or whatever. Like, I just wanted to ask, what's the power behind visualization that we can clean our lataifs with it, if that makes sense?
Sorry, say again. What?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, what's the power behind like imagining something or like visualizing it, that it can actually clean our lataifs, if that makes sense?
In actual fact, you see, the thing is that because their physical world, and then there is like a spiritual world, and in the inner, the to do with the mind, and all that to do is with imagination. The physicality cannot reach there. Let's say if it's to do with brain, it will have to be with thinking, because thinking is the language of brain. So like tongue has this, so if someone wants to say something, they will use this tongue, physical voice to reach or anything. Similarly, the brain and the spirits and all, their power and their, you may say, language is the language, the hidden language of meaning the thought and thing. So that's why we use that. And all the time we are using it for even physical things even come into existence before, after the thought. Not lataif, I'm saying this computer came into existence before it was in the mind of someone. This building was in the mind of someone. The glasses which you are wearing are where the firstly thought came, then actually computer came, phone came, plane came. So I say, forget about spiritual world. I'm saying about the physical world, everything came after a thought. That's the power of thought and thinking and imagining. So all scientists, what they are doing, creativity, what does it mean? Meaning they're thinking ideas, and they test those ideas, and then, alhamdulillah, we have cars, we have planes, we have computers, we have phones, we have all this technology. Where did it come from? Someone's thinking. Yes, they tried again and again. So this is power of thinking, even in regard to this now new technology, this like virtual reality. It's not new, but coming in access to people, this metaverse and the cyber world and things also is a product of thought. Also, artificial intelligence, for example. If someone thought about, oh, yes, we can have this, we can do this thing. So power is very, very powerful, the thought, and be it physical world or spiritual world, is very, very powerful. Mind is actually have, alhamdulillah, this ability to think. if you say, let's say a person is saying, I am happy, what does it basically mean? It's to do with his thinking. Happiness is not in the things, anything. Otherwise, everyone will be happy whoever you give the thing. But it's a state of mind. A person who is sad also, there is the thoughts going again. People who are depressed is to do with the thoughts. People who have anxiety, and if a person can clear that, control that, alhamdulillah, they have mastery over their life and many of the things. So from the thoughts then, as I said, the feeling, the emotions are a result of the thoughts. So what type of thoughts, what type of things you think, they generate feelings. For example, you're thinking about someone, oh, this person did not good to me, this person did not good to me. Then feeling of negativity will start coming. After feeling, then emotion, you might become angry out of nowhere. Seeing that person, so where did it come from? Thought. Thought is so powerful that nothing existed before. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when there was nothing, where was things? It was in the knowledge. Allah does not have thought like us, but it was in the knowledge of Allah. So firstly, when Allah intends, firstly it is in His knowledge, meaning for us we can say like thought, and then He said be, and it happened. Same with this. So alhamdulillah, ye cheez.
Okay, we'll take one last one now, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
I just had one question. So for example, today during the Salatul Tasbih, I found myself in the old Medina Sharif, praying behind the Sahaba Ikram with the Blessed Teacher. But over time, I could imagine myself in the present day Medina Sharif. So what should I do when I wanted to stay with the Sahaba Ikram and the old Medina, but my mind was taking me to the new Medina? So what should I do with this disconnect?
Right. You see, if things are happening automatically, then you should go with the flow. This means your benefit lies. But if one wants to stay there, sometimes you have choice to stay. But if automatically things change, then naturally, and also why it happens sometime is because like you are on a very fast, like more than the speed of light, the spirit is. So let's say you are in the old Medina, and during being there, the thought comes of new Medina. Immediately, your spirit will begin to see the new one as well. It's like your thought is controlled. Even technology is advancing so much now that with thoughts you can turn on lights. With thoughts you can turn on your cooker or whatever tea. You don't have to say it. So ye to thought power, like that brother is saying, that now the technology is using. Even you can send email with thought. Imagine that the person's mind it will get. There is no spiritual world. I'm not talking about. People are so oblivious, so immature, that what technology is doing, they're asking about spiritual world, can it happen? Well, that is billions times more powerful. Or go forward 14th century. So sometimes you yourself are bringing it back, and sometimes it happens if the Shaykh is with you, they are taking you, they want, so there are certain reasons sometimes to benefit from there. So it is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Jalla wala's power which is manifested in the Ruh as well.
Jazakallah for everyone, and we will inshallah head towards our main presentation. As you know, the theme has been the
presentation will carry on. I will just give some
Okay, we're just continuing on the theme of the various identities, and our honorable teacher will touch upon the identity of the creation, and I will just request Brother Wasim to play a nasheed before we start. Jazakallah.
नबी